God leaves you your pairs. And that may not make sense to people. But even my son himself and my ex-wife had said, and her mom used to say, I can't believe that somebody like Jen that doesn't have much energy and doesn't really do much would end up with someone like you that's so full of energy in life. Well, that's because even in a non-time sense, people felt my essence because they knew I was the one but didn't want to understand it. But then as Dan, if I say, me, Dan Alexander, I'm the man. But then I also had my ego problems, my sex issues after that because I got those out after I got divorced because I was like, hey, man, I was going to be loyal to this person because I thought on paper we're supposed to do that. Because I always heard about twin flames and shit like that. And guess what? I'm everybody's twin flame. We're all sitting around one big fire called the sun, are we not? We're sitting around the fucking sun. We're all twin flame. There's no twin. It's plus whimsical, identified manifestation. Twin, flame, forward light as manifest energy. Do you get it, people? Jen was my first twin flame because she was the call symbols of my dead brother Jarred, who didn't want to be a male this time but was in a male body in the womb and decided not to come out. He wanted to be a female, so he came as a female named Jennifer years before me because he was born way before me, and he came out as Jen to find me as her brother that died. She died as my brother. Jen, I know that, and it's crazy, yeah, but it is. I can do the math for you and blow your mind, and I can show you, and people are like, that's just, yeah. Do you think, did your mom plan that? Did my mom plan that? No, who planned that? God. And when God did that, who was the one who did it? Me. Do you know how scary that is? Do you know that people will look at me and be like, he's somebody that could really harm us? I'm like, I only harmed us by accident because I didn't get control of myself. And at the same time, all the other God out there that aren't thinking for the right reasons are harming us. That's why there's violence and pain. That's why there's all the hurt. Jen gets mad at me, but at the same time, I had to leave because my energy was being pulled down by somebody who didn't want to be part of the family.
Could I, ask a question / clarify something?
Yeah.
You said, God and who did that, and you said me, and you said, but I did all those, and the reason that people would think that you're dangerous is because you've done stuff. Well, that's the thing is, when you say that, in my head I think, you did it, I did it, they did it, as George Washington.
Yeah.
Because George Washington did it. You know what I mean? And so when you say me, that's what I think of is everybody.
You're saying it right.
Everybody says me. I say me. He says me. You know what I mean?
That's why I said me. I was going to say I, but I thought if I said I, people would think I meant Dan Alexander at that point. So I said me as in Mother Earth, the manifest energy that is the body that they call Dan Alexander.
Yeah, everybody refers to themselves as me. So when you say me, that's what I think of.
Yeah, when I say you or me, I'm talking about Mother Earth energy, my physical body. When I say I, I'm talking about my identity that grew up and gave up on chasing after pussy and thinking marriage made sense because we are all one twin flame. Are we not? All gather around a big fire called the sun. Are we not? I know somebody's going to say that, and it's going to be on an old talk in time. There's going to be an old talk that shows up now, and it'll say that it was posted 10 years ago, and it'll say something like that. And there'll be some other shit. That's the kind of weird shit that happens, okay? Because the divineness was supposed to show up in me, in my time space. My dead brother who died years before my brother Mike, who was the third one, point, that's where he died and became Jen. Then my brother Mike was the third, but actually the fourth, and I was 4. So Mike was another one. So it goes 3 point. Then you add 1 because Jarred was skipped as a point, and then a line between that. Then came Mike and me, and Mike was 13. His name starts with M, which is a 1 and a 3. So it was Chuck and Brian. Those are the 2 that are alive. The dead one was a point. They don't go around saying I have 5 children when one was never other than stillbirth, because he didn't want to be a man, didn't want to be a boy, he wanted to be a girl, and he came as Jen. And Jen searched her life and didn't know what she was doing, and when she saw me and I saw her, I had this instance in me that just knew she needed me. And I don't think she's the prettiest girl in the world, but I think she's beautiful. I think she's an awesome person. I've always thought that of her. But she was pulling my energy down. And as Dan, my ego stuff was in the way too. But deep down inside, the I that was the awakened being that was meant to show up at my magic number 38, all this shit just adds up. If you don't think I'm being serious, I'm being so serious. And a 3-8 is what? It's an 11, and I'm standing in between it. 3, 8, and 1 were always my numbers. I started saying 1, 3, and 8 and all that kind of stuff. But it was 3, then it was 8, and then 1 because like we all are 1. But 3 was my number because I had 3 brothers when I was a kid. I thought that's why. And then 8 was my number because I think it's cool that when you spin 3 in a circle, it makes an 8. And then I said 3, 8, and I was like, but I don't really think that makes sense because we're all 1. And then like I used to say that kind of shit when I was 20. I used to say that kind of stuff like when I was younger. But that was like my call sign saying out from my higher self to my me body self saying, dude, you're hearing yourself. You're starting to get it. And then I had my bad trips. Then Eric died. Then this kind of stuff happened because divine spirit was trying to make sense. And it had to hit you in the heart to make you feel it. You're not going to feel it unless seemingly your best friend dies. Eric's not dead. His body that was Mother Earth manifested in his energy body that was made into flesh is dead or gone. But, I can still picture it in my mind as if he's here and that's not even gone. But at the same time, other people don't have that gift. So I don't sit around going la la woo woo in my head. Many mystics that do that see being an awakened being as somebody who can see things that have happened before in that space. And they stay there and they don't care about the world. Why would you be alive right now and stay alive in the point of history you're in and not try to help people? Be selfish. I say a selfish guru. I've been selfish gurus, okay? A selfish guru is someone that I've been, the I, that isn't Dan, the I, has been, that Buddha, and a lot of people like that, they helped. But there's so many Ramakrishnas and whatever people that will say, like Sri Gadimbi Duba. There's so many people out there, so many billions of names that some of them sound funny to Americans, some of them, they don't sound funny to me. I'm just making it up because I don't want to say an exact one. So those people would get the enlightenment because they were taught the right way, but they were also brought up in a family. And they were taught some other stuff besides the methods that don't require you telling somebody a backstory. You say, breathe in, breathe out. Feel your energy. Feel yourself. And they don't say, picture Krishna dancing with those people in the fields. Picture Jesus helping cross the desert. Don't tell people to put ideas and images in their head. Because image is imagine. I'm a jinn. Expressed. Imagine. I'm a genie. Don't you see it? Don't you see it? If you say, I imagine, where does that I go? Right before the E at the end, and you say, I'm a genie. And if you don't like that, that's actually what I as God did, not me as Dan did, I'm sorry. But I did it so we could all learn. And I gave Dan the key. And when I say that, I'm speaking properly in 2 tenses. I'm always channeling through Dan. And sometimes when I say when I'm talking to my phone, except I'm in front of Xavier, so now I'm being more, onto my mind about what I'm saying because I'm not trying to sound stupid. The point is, I'm trying so hard not to offend people with my words by being as honest as I can with words. And all we have is words to do what we got, Anywho, we gonna go to the stove. And Jen, I love you. I hope we can work something out someday because I never meant to harm you. It's just your energy was holding us down. And the only way we either could have grown is if we hurt our heart. And I hurt your heart by leaving you, and you hurt my heart with the kids.
That's the thing is when you say that her energy was holding you down, in a way, yours was affecting her because she just wasn't receiving it.
Yeah, she just...
You know what I mean? So
we were drinking and stuff.
Yeah,
we were dumbing ourselves down.
And at the time, you weren't the person you are now. So at the time, you guys balanced each other to a point to where it was just too weird.
Well, we balanced each other, and then when Eric left and that energy sort of hit me in the heart, and then she had that thing where Eric was talking to her, because she was like my brother Jarred, and Jarred and Eric are the same essential energy. Jarred's energy is an energy that I can't give you the name of because it doesn't make sense. It's light symbols. And Jen and me and Xavier and Dan and all that kind of stuff, those are light symbols. They are light symbols. They are letters, letters that let you know what we're doing here in this earth plane. And if you don't get it, I'm saying it the best anyone's ever said it. Some people say the Artulians and the Circadians and the goo-ba-goo. I was them too. But quit making up fucking stories that you think about, because I don't want to live them. Because you may think you're enlightened because you can talk to stuff, but everything you say, since I'm the enlightened being who brought the truth about the word, like every other being who's been enlightened has never, none of them ever have explained every word and letter and symbol because they never were the light that made the symbols.
I thought they would even need to be able
Yeah, no one thought they'd be able to. No one would even imagine that. I didn't imagine this. God gave it to me. Because I am a genie. I am magic. I'm a big, wondrous pool of magic. And everything that, like, and I don't have nothing against anything that happens to me. So if people are like, if you were gone, what, like if someday I get a disease or whatever, which I won't because I think about health. So that's something that I won't get. Well, what about if you get in an accident? I won't because I think about safety. So that's something that I won't get. But what if I think about lying to people but won't do it because I know sometimes lying is the only way that you're going to actually get people that are scared of the truth to not harm you. But I'm not afraid of dying, so I will do exactly what every one of us is supposed to do, whether you like it or not. You're supposed to be good to your body, you're supposed to be honest to people, and you're supposed to talk about your thoughts. You're not supposed to hold it in yourself and say, I have the right to be private. I have the right to privacy. You know how silly that is? Privacy means I'm embarrassed or I did something wrong. Or you're just being rude and say, I don't like you enough to tell you and I don't want you to know. Those are the only options you got when you're trying to be private. You're hiding something, you're embarrassed, or you're rude. Am I wrong? I don't think so. If you're hiding something, what are you hiding? What do you need privacy for? I'll show you my balls if you want to because it's just a body part and I think nothing of it sexually. But other people are like, I can't believe he said that. He's an enlightened being and he said balls. Should I say testicles? Would that be more scientific for you stupid people who think being proper with your taught words matter? I'm telling you the words the way they're supposed to be said. So, we're going to go to the store. And Jen, I love you. And I'm sorry I went off to that other thing, but I tangent sometimes because I have so much to say. 5 D's is a T, tangent and Dan, gentleman. That's the same thing. So anyway, I love you guys. And peace. I mean, what's weird is that was quite a deep and meaningful thing. And I made it sound funny. Because it's not about being all serious all the damn time.
And I like how you answered my